Mr. Kjos, thanks for joining. So you're fighting an intense battle for customers in both the long-haul transatlantic markets and the short-haul European market. How are you going to be able to deliver seat miles as cheaply as, say, a Ryanair or an EasyJet?
You have to have a completely modern fleet, especially flying transatlantic. You can't do it with an old aircraft, and you have to have a very efficient setup. And if you fly to some of the small airports, you get less cost. So
that's a good point. You obviously work out of LaGuardia and also, JFK, but you also have hubs in places like Stewart Airport in Orange County in New York and also Providence. Does it make it more attractive for customers that are desperately trying to avoid the traditional airports?
Yeah, because it's very easy to get through these small airports. You can just 10 minutes and you're through immigration and so on, and all the customs and these things. So it's very efficient, and you can turn around the aircraft, so you can get high utilization on the aircraft. Means lower cost, and it's cheaper to fly there.
Exactly. Are you getting deals for landing slots and so forth that you could never get in a place like JFK?
Oh yeah, that's totally different. It's another world, of course, and it should be.
Well, you mentioned the larger airlines and how you need to have the setup, and that's how you can deliver miles cheaply, but it's expensive. Ownership costs for those airlines are expensive. How do you intend to bring overall costs down?
You have to. We have very, very good financing systems with the aircraft today, because you utilize the export credit facilities like you do in UK. So that gives you very favorable rates to finance the aircraft, and it's you need to keep the cost down, and you need to be efficient all over.
You're expanding out of the US to other parts of the world, and you're expanding constantly. How much growth do you see as sustainable with the amount of costs that you have?
Well, in 3 years we will have close to 50 Dreamliners, and I don't know how many 737 will be flying over the Atlantic. It remains to be seen, but you have to have, this is commodities, you have to have a large scale of fleet. And today we have 58 routes over the Atlantic. Tomorrow we will have many more.
Well, so fuel and maintenance might be better with that kind of scale, but how are you defending your price point given that the larger carriers also have scale and are defending their market share intensely?
But that is the good thing, because then you will ramp up the volume. That's exactly what we are after. If we can have more people to fly, we can build our own volume. It's enough for everybody. They have to come down a little bit on the fares. That is way too high. It's way too costly to fly over the Atlantic for everybody today. It have to come down, and then many more people have the ability to fly there.
What can you charge and make a profit on, say, a flight from an airport in California, where you are the second largest transatlantic flyer, to a Rome or a Paris?
Well, you should be able to fly at least for $200, $250 on a one-way ticket. You should do that. And we are actually down to $199 on a one-way ticket across the from east side into Europe.
It's pretty insane, $199. It makes no sense. It costs almost that to get to DC, and that's not even on the Acela Express. The balance sheet, though, it is getting a little bit stretched at Norwegian. How do you plan to manage that?
Well, we have so far financed about 140 airplanes. It's much easier today to finance than it was in the startup phase. So, because there is a lot of instruments that we utilize to finance today. So, actually, finance today is actually very easy.
Well, so you can lever up, but what if there was some kind of crisis? What if there was a fuel price spike or something that might put pressure on the leveraged balance sheet?
Well, there is always tumble blocks. Always tumble blocks. It's been there since the startup year, so you have to face with that. The thing is that you have to plan on something can always happen, whether it is terrorist attacks or whether it's the fuel spikes. When it's fuel spikes, we are from Norway, and that's very good, because when the oil prices goes up, Norway is doing very well.
I have to mention your competition with Ryanair in particular. There's a pilot shortage in Europe, and it sounds like you've taken a lot of pilots from Ryanair. Now Ryanair is offering an incentive for those pilots to come back. How does that all shake out? How do you gain pilots?
Well, Norwegian has been very attractive. Pilots like to fly new airplanes. They love to fly the Dreamliner, as an example. So they have the ability to fly Dreamliners, new airplanes, and also have the possibility to live on a very popular place, whether they are from Spain or UK or US.
You're just opening your Boeing 787 pilot base in Fort Lauderdale right now, right?
That's right.
How do you differentiate intra-Europe? So between Easy Wings and EasyJet and Ryanair and all these low-cost carriers, they're all doing the same thing. Why pick Norwegian?
Because then you have access to a large network, especially together with EasyJet, access to a large network. And of course, you have to pick Norwegian to fly low-cost transatlantic, or if you want to go long haul.
Last question, long haul, transatlantic, how do you see it shaking out, the top 3-4 players?
I think it has a huge potential, huge potential. As long as you can keep the fares low, it's a huge potential, and it's enough for everybody.